Hi guys, ladies, my name is Disraeli. I'm one of the instructors here at Universal Motorcycle Training in Edgware, Alperton and Wimbledon. And today I'm here to talk to you about a junction approach procedure. So basically many of my students ask me regarding why is it that there are so many collisions at junctions? And the simple answer is that's where the traffic meets. So basically the propensity of risk is higher at junctions because of that. And also because most people, because maybe they already used to the route or they simply, not fully focus on the road, they don't take the necessary care as approaching junctions. So junction approach procedures is very important because that could mean the difference between staying alive and not staying alive. So there are many different procedures that you can utilize. You can come up with your own framework. When it comes to UK motorcycle riding, we suggest something called O.S.M.P.S.L. Basically, that's one of the frameworks that we utilize as we approach junctions, and that's the frameworks that we sort of promote in terms of reflexive thought, in terms of getting you to reflect on your own riding. So basically, today I'm going to talk to you about that. A bit of stats for you. So around 65% of UK motorcycle deaths will involve some sort of junction approach, being a T-junction or a crossroad or a roundabout. So it's an area which obviously you are at risk. So you've got to be really thinking careful as you approach junctions. So obviously, as an educator, myself and my colleagues, our mission is obviously to educate you regarding your own safety and hopefully equip you with some reflexive thought so that you can reflect about your own riding and become a better rider in the process. So basically, I'm just gonna shift to the boards now. So we're coming to the board now, and I'm gonna explain you in theory how the O.S.M.P.S.L framework would work. As I said to you, there are many other schools of thought when it comes to junction approach out there. So there are a variety of procedures. In the UK, when it comes to junction approach, one of the most common ones is the O.S.M.P.S.L. That's a systematic procedure as you approach junctions. So you're applying a system, yeah? Now, with anything about systems, you've got to bear in mind that systems can and should be flexible, yeah? So don't have this as the absolute truth, because obviously the actual procedure itself will vary according to the context, so according to the situation, according to the junction that you're approaching, and obviously all the elements, all the variables that you're going to face, yeah? But obviously, just to give you a reference, so this is a minor to major road. That's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be starting from the bottom, and we're going to be making our way up here, and we may be turning left or turning right, yeah? So obviously this is a motorcycle training center. So we have a few centers in the southeast, so in London. So we're going to be talking about the motorcycling aspects of this junction approach. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to imagine ourselves riding here, yeah? And obviously what we have to bear in mind is the actual context of where we are. So if this is the left-hand lane, and if that's our lane, we've got to think about the position that we should be in as we approach junctions as well. So let's just imagine that we are here in position 2, yeah, so the center of our lane, okay? We may have been in position 1 or position 3 as well, but let's just imagine that we are in position 2. So that's our sort of starting point, yeah? So position 2. And basically, let's just imagine that we are around 50 yards from the junction. So this will be 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards, 50 yards. So we're approaching the junction there and we're going to be turning left, yeah? So the first thing you should be thinking about is as you identify your destination, so you've just looked towards the end of the road and you've identified that it's a T-junction and you need to make a decision. So that decision is a crucial point. So where are you going to go? So you can turn left or turn right. We already said the intention here should turn left. So that's my starting point. So I'm in position 2. I have decided that I'm turning left. Now I have to follow through with that decision. Yeah, and the way I do that is not just for myself, but I've got to be aware of my surroundings. So who is it that I'm sharing the road with? So the first thing I need to do is basically get a glimpse, get an image of what is it that is around me. So I've got to ask myself, okay, so where am I? What's around me? And that's where the observation comes in. So the O here, so the first point of our framework is observation. So I've got to place myself in that environment and I've got to be aware of that environment. So the first thing obviously you will be doing is looking forward, because obviously you are looking forward to know where you're going. So you already know what's in front of you. Secondly, you've got to be aware of what's around you as well. And that means behind and also in your blind spots. So within this specific context here, the observation will mean mirrors. Yeah, so the mirrors, they reflect an image of what's behind you. So I'll be looking at my mirrors now, okay, so that I can gather information. What is it that's behind me? Is it what is it? So is it a truck? Is it a car? Is it the motorcycle? So, and also I have to ask myself, so how far are they from me? What kind of threats would they offer me? Are they following me closely or are they further back? Yeah, and how many are there? So those are the questions I should be asking myself. Okay, so how close are they? What kind of threats would they pose to me, if anything? So that's what the information I'll be gathering through my observation there. So checking mirrors, first thing we're going to do. Second is the signal. Now, the signal you've got to bear in mind, so it requires you to reflect a bit on the actions that you're actually doing, because the signal here, you've got to understand that the signal is a mean of communication, and that's how we communicate with other road users. Yeah, so basically, what you have to understand that you're not communicating to yourself, you're externalizing that thought process. You've already decided to turn left, so you're going to communicate with the other road users that your intention is to turn left. Therefore, you are offering them an opportunity to adjust their speeds and their positions according to your decision, to where you want to go, because we don't have control over them. You've got control over your vehicle. So you've got to communicate that intention there, and that's the signal. So in our case here, we're going to be turning left. So we indicate left. Yeah, so mirrors, left signal. Now, once I've done the left signal, I've got to now prepare myself in a physical way as to where I want to go. So if I'm going to be turning left, I've got to be thinking about what position should I be in? So what position should I maneuver to? Because obviously I'm no longer going to be riding straight ahead. My intention now is to turn left. So what I'm going to do now is think about maneuver to a certain position. Yeah. Now, in our case here, this very basic framework that we've done for learners, yeah, we only divided this lane here into 3 positions. So position 1 is the left side of your lane, position 2 is the center of your lane, and then position 3 is the right side of your lane. So assuming that we were in position 2, which we already did, we're now going to maneuver to position 1. Yeah, and why is that? Basically, that obviously the assumption that we're making here is that, as you can see, there's no parked cars in here, no obstacles, nothing there. Yeah, so that's the first assumption there. And also, I'm turning left. And as I can see here, the curb has a shape, yeah, so what we call the shape of the curb. Now, this is very common in many countries around the world, especially in the UK, where the local authorities, the way they design roads, normally the curve, the shape has a curve, and that's on purpose. Yeah, the reason why they do that is that so your front wheel in your car or in your motorcycle, for example, can follow the shape of the curb, so therefore is already pointed in the direction that you want to go. Yeah, so you don't have to get hard at the junction there and then just steer your handlebar. You already follow the shape of the curb as you are preparing and as you are turning. Yeah, and therefore, obviously, in terms of that, it would make sense for us to then maneuver from position 2 to position 1. Yeah, another reason, or another potential advantage to that as well, is again, bear in mind the assumptions that we already making according to what I've drawn here, is that potentially I could have cyclists or other motorcyclists or like a small car coming behind me, and basically if I do remain in position 2, what would potentially happen is if I have to stop here because of oncoming traffic, for example, yeah, then the potential is I've opened a breach here, so what we call a breach point, so that other road users can then exploit. So for example, as you are, as a human nature, as you are here, you are normally concerned, so your vision, your focus is normally concerned with the traffic that's coming there. We normally classify as a secondary threat whatever else. So what could happen here is someone could sneak up on you here, stop here, a cyclist or a motorcyclist, anything, and then because you are concerned with a certain threat, now your vision is there, you may just forget or to check, or you just overlook really, which is obviously because you may have something on your mind, that there may be something there because you left the space, yeah, and therefore there is another road user there. He is also concerned with the traffic. Maybe he's got something on his mind. Now, once this is clear, this guy here may move out, and then this guy here may move out as well. Yeah, so there's a potential here for a collision. Yeah, and that's what we want to avoid. Okay, so based on the assumptions that we already made, based on this scenario, the safest way would be to maneuver to position 1. Yeah, so let me just erase here this potential scenario that we've done. And then, so basically what we're going to do now again is observation. Yeah, so gathering information what's around us. Signal, so informing other road users of our intention. Yeah, so our intention is to turn left, and the word intention is very important to retain the meaning there. Is not the action, is an intention. You haven't turned yet. You are advising, communicating to other road users that you have the intention to turn left. Yeah, but you haven't done that. It's not an action yet. So therefore, there may be room for you to cancel that intention if something goes wrong, for example. Yeah, so that's an intention. And obviously you give them, because it's that you communicate an intention, again, you're communicating to them and giving them an opportunity to adjust themselves according to your information there. Yeah, it doesn't mean they're going to do it, by the way. So observation, so checking mirrors and signal, and then if I'm in position 2, then maneuvering to position 1. Now, this is very important for you to bear in mind that we have different field of visions around us. So normally, the way I describe it is that we have our peripheral vision. So that's how you, when you're looking forwards, yeah, this is your peripheral vision, yeah, like this, okay. And then we have our rear vision, which is we normally gain that awareness through checking the mirrors. So we look at the mirrors there and we gain that awareness, yeah? So the mirrors reflect an image that's directly behind me. And then we have two other perspectives, so two other fields of vision. So we have our left blind spots and then our right blind spots. Because I am a three-dimensional being, I have those four field of visions when I'm riding that motorcycle. Peripheral vision, rear field of vision, and then I've got the left blind spot and the right blind spot. Now, the only possible way that you'll be able to observe into your blind spot is by aligning your chin with your shoulder. So you're going to, so your optical nerve, you need to move from the peripheral vision into the blind spot. Yeah, and that's the only way. A blind spot check, or in the UK, with one of the terminologies that you used is the shoulder check or the lifesaver check. So lifesaver check means aligning my jaw with the shoulder, like this. Yeah, so it's not looking down, it's not looking at the sky, it's really bringing my field of vision from my peripheral vision into my blind spot. Yeah. Now, having said that, what could be on the blind spot given this context? So what I could have here is a bicycle, or I could have another motorcyclist perhaps, or a small car, because as a motorcyclist, unless you have a massive motorcycle, yeah, which is almost impossible, it won't occupy the whole lane, yeah? So you're always positioning inside a certain position. So because we were in position 2, we're now gonna maneuver to position 1. So we're gonna do a lifesaver on the left to make sure there's nothing here on my blind spots, yeah? So lifesaver, and then I gently maneuver into the position 1, yeah? So when I say gentle, is I do my lifesaver on the left, then I gentle maneuver, so I sort of go towards the position 1, okay? So now I'm in position 1 now. Now, very important here, once you're in position 1, to now think about how fast is it that you're approaching that junction, yeah? Because basically, speed sometimes can be very detrimental. So as we're approaching that junction there, we've got to be really concerned about how much time do we have to assess that junction to make sure it is safe or not to proceed, yeah? So therefore, the timing is very important when it comes to the O.S.M.P.S.L as well. So as I approach that junction there, so I've already done the maneuver into the position, so position 1 here. I now need to really match my speed there according to the junction. So I may have an open junction where I'm gonna start slowing down so that I have time to look right, look left, look right, look left, make sure it is safe, yeah? Now, an open junction is more or less when my field of vision is open in both sides. So it's like a parking here, a parking there. So I can see clearly, from 100 yards or more, that there is no cars coming from the right, and obviously that my entrance here, it's also clear from danger, and that's what we call an open junction, yeah? We could also have a closed junction as well. So a closed junction is where I may have a building here, for example, yeah, where it obstructs my field of vision, yeah? So therefore, unless I'm Clark Kent, with my X-ray vision, I will not be able to see what's coming from the right-hand side, for example, yeah? Until I really get up to that junction there, yeah? So within that time, it may be too late if I'm not careful, okay? So let's just assume for a moment that this is an open junction, yeah? So right here, I have a clear field of vision. I can see there's no cars coming from the right, there's no cars coming to the left, but I've got to double check that, so it's very important. So I'm going to slow down enough to give me enough time to look right, to look left, to look right, to look left again, to make sure it's safe. Once I've ascertained that it is safe, so there's no vehicles coming from the right and my sort of entrance there is safe, I can then obviously make a decision when I'm going to stop or when I'm going to turn, and I can follow the shape of that curve there, and I turn into position 2 here if there's no parked cars, for example, and then obviously I've got to cancel my signal, which is no longer relevant, and check my mirrors. And the reason why we'll check the mirrors there is to really be able to see what's coming from down there, yeah? So, you know, perhaps a fast moving vehicle and that sort of thing, okay? So that's pretty much what we do. Obviously, again, this junction here, what we've assumed as well is that it has a giveaway junction. So we have giveaway lines here. Normally, it may come accompanied with a triangle facing downwards as well, which in the United Kingdom, it means give way. So give way to the traffic on the major road, yeah? Because you are seeing it, you're seeing that triangle facing downwards. So therefore, it means that you have to give way to that traffic there. It may be accompanied as well by a sign on the left there, so a give way sign saying give way. So again, a triangle facing downwards, and that's all advising you of the same thing. And what it is give way to traffic on the major road, yeah. And that's what we assumed here. Obviously, other junctions may have other rules. So basically, what I could have as well here is, rather than having a giveaway junction, I could potentially have a solid white line here rather than that dotted line, and with that octagonal sign here, yeah, so with 8 sides, a sign with 8 sides, which is red, a red background, and it says stop, yeah. Now that's the only octagonal sign that you're going to find in the UK, yeah, and that means stop, yeah. So you're normally going to find a stop sign in a junction that you have very limited field of vision, for example, as you approach, or you know, where there's a propensity, a tendency of a collision there, and they decided to put a stop sign in there. And again, if stop means stop, so if you have a stop sign in there, basically you do your procedure. So O.S.M.P.S.L, mirror, signal, shoulder, maneuver. In our case here, position 2. As you're approaching, you are reducing your speed in there, and then to prepare to stop, and you're going to stop here by the white line. Once you've stopped, you then assess that junction, look right, look left, look right, make sure it is safe to proceed, yeah. Once you've done that, position 2, obviously if it's safe to do so, cancel your signal, check your mirrors, yeah. And this is the basics of the basics regarding the O.S.M.P.S.L procedure in the UK, yeah. And also what we've done here, we limited ourselves to a minor to major road, okay, turning left. We could also have a minor to major turning right. We could also have a major to minor turning right. We could also have a major to minor turning left, and obviously different variations. So give way sign, stop sign, open junction, semi-closed junction, closed junction. And also we could also have roundabout. So roundabout is obviously also a type of junction, but it's normally a junction with multiple entrances and multiple exits, and therefore, you know, because of that, the actual risk may be heightened, yeah. But the roundabout section is another topic that we're going to be talking about on another day. Thank you for watching. We're here for you.